Alright guys, in this video we're going to be going through all the blokes you brought in for round 13 for that buy round and the possible potential keepers that you were looking to bring in for that one. And we're going to see if they're holds going forward or if really you're just bringing them in for round 13. So we're going to start with the guys in the people squad and then make some talk through, and we will talk through some of the guys in the player pool there as well. So in terms of up top there with Brayley, who someone was playing round 13, I think he's a hold at this point. We can work out over the next few weeks if he's actually going through some issues, maybe some body issues. As that I've heard something about a broken hand. So if that's the case and he keeps scoring bad, then we can move him on. But I think until then, we hold him steady. Papali'i, I think, is a keeper, so you should be holding him. Watson, I think you can definitely hold over the next period as well. Flegler, I think you can hold for the next couple of weeks, but then move on come round 17. So hopefully he's about 450 to 480, and you can move him on there for that one. Pengai Jr., I think, is a keeper, so you can definitely hold him, and he's slightly cheaper than some of the other guys that are averaging sort of low 50s to mid 50s. Fafita will be backing up, so hopefully be backing up. If you've held him on this long, then you've got to keep him in your squad for sure. I think Moses is definitely a hold at this point. He has had a couple of lower weeks in a row, but he's very cheap now, and a lot of people will be thinking about picking him up if he has a couple of decent scores there. So definitely hold. Avrilo's a buy this week. Peachy's definitely a top tier center, so I wouldn't be touching him. Olam is also a hold, I think, until at least looking towards the next few weeks. I don't see the reason to move him on at 400k. I think there's he's just too cheap. If he was about 500k, you could look to move him on, but 400 is a bit too cheap, I think. Nico Hines, I think you just completely hold until he moves back to the bench. Once he does that, you just move straight away. I think that's the smartest option. Looks like Pat might be back next week. If he's not, you also have guys like Munster and whatever that and Hughes that might get rested or injured or suspended or whatever. So until he ends up back on the bench, I think you hold him steady. Probably not a captaincy option this week, but anyway. Tommy Tuovich, if you're holding, I think you just hold him the whole way through. He's one of the top 3 wing fullbacks at the moment, top 2 even. So you just keep holding. Dane Laurie, I think you could hold up and towards round 17 and make a decision from there. Crichton, you're holding on all year. Harris is a buy this week. Teddy, you hold on because he's so cheap and will score well when he plays for the Roosters, and they think they'll need him to back up more times than not, just for the fact that they're not sitting first and minor premiers like they have been in previous years. Spencer, I think you can move on over the next few weeks, but you want to trade him. If you're going to trade him down, you're going to a 228 guy like a Lussick. Otherwise, you're trying to trade up to a 400k plus guy that's going to make you some cash. Cleary, you're holding the whole year. Gamble, I think you can trade out now. Again, you want to go right down to 228, I think, or upgrade. There's no one really in that bracket, that 340 bracket, that's worth it. I think Schuster's a hold. He plays around 17, so I think we need that. With most teams sitting with 4 or 5 players currently for round 17, and Reece Walsh is a hold / a buy next week if you don't have him already. Hughes is more of a buy / hold rather than anywhere near a sell. We've got Cherry Evans. I think you just hold this whole time. Through the origin period, he's averaging 62, and there's only, as you can see, not many players that are averaging over 60 this year. Pong is one of them, and he's even had a few lower games. Who else we got in here? So Fafita's averaging over 60. Brayley's just over 60. Harris is. Other than that, no one really is close to that mark. You got Crichton with 61.6, and then Tuovich with 67. So really less than 10 players that are averaging 60, which is great. Great if you own these kind of guys, but I wouldn't be trading them out. Haas, you want to hold for the rest of the year is the goal. Obviously, he's had a few lighter games, but I think you hold him. I don't know why people are trying to move him on. I think they thought he was injured or something, but he's playing Origin, so can't be that bad. Cook, you're holding. Munster, you would have traded out already by this point. If you still have him right this second, you're holding. Brandon Smith's definitely a hold. Hunt, who played 13, is definitely a hold / a buy. A lot of people are interested in picking him up, averaging 58. Hooker and half position, especially when the hooking position is really weak at the moment, with Brayley kind of being your best player. Reid Marnie's injured. Brayley isn't even playing that well, so that's that one there. Dylan Brown, they played in round 13, but he is closer to a buy than a sell. Fisher Harris, I'd say, is probably a hold right now. If you didn't pick him up for round 13, I think you just hold steady with him. I don't think you should be buying him. Thompson's more a buy, as we spoke about. Tapellin, I think I saw like 500 people have bought him this week, so silly. It's way too expensive. Taumalolo, I think, is a hold / a buy in the coming weeks. Harry Grant, I'd look to pick him up eventually, but not right now. Dewey, I think, is a hold at this point, but could be looking to be a sell if it's not continuing to average in the mid-50s like he would in the 6th position. Reed Mane, I think, is a sell at the moment. 3 to 6 weeks is just too many, especially when they have a buy in 17. So it could be the next 3 plus 17. So at minimum, it's going to be a 4-week out, and at that price, I think it's just way too much. Do you remember when he was over 800k? That was the good old days. Luke Brooks is a hold until 17 at least, but even if he keeps playing like he is right now, then I think he should be staying in the majority of people's sides for sure. Papali'i is coming back into the squad. I think you just wait on him, and if he's back to playing his best, he should be in the Origin team. Come around 17. Marty Tapau is not one to touch. Fodawaker, I think you can wait till 18, but if you have him, you're holding. Cody Nikorima, now that you've got through round 13, is a hold. He's not a buy. Latrell, I'd be waiting until after 17. Madison's a hold. Leilu is a hold. Murray, I don't know why you'd have him currently, but if you do, he's a hold. To'o, so he's an interesting one. So you obviously missed 13. If you're holding right now, you're like, okay, well, he's going to miss 14, it looks like, unless he doesn't play too much or he doesn't have to do too much in the game, then he'll back up. But if not, he's missing this one, and he'll miss 17 as well. But I still think he's a hold. He's still one of the top wing fullbacks in the game, and will come back and do really well. So that's that. McCulloch and Gutherson are definitely holds. Reynolds I wouldn't be thinking about buying, but he's definitely a hold. Foggs as well. We have him sitting as a hold. I won't be touching him in my squad at the moment. I'll just leave him there where he is. Coruscant, I'll be waiting until after the Origin sort of setup's all done. And then we move to someone like J-Trob, who I think is also a hold. He'll be backing up. Don't be worrying about that. Kurt Mann, you can probably look to sell over the next few weeks. He's still a decent price where you get some good cash back from him, even though he scored pretty solidly on the weekend. He moves to the centres on this game, and I doubt that he goes as well as he would do in the 6th position. In terms of other guys you got there, a few people asked me about Josh Jackson. Yeah, he's averaging 51.6, but I just don't see him as a perfect option going forward. Alex Twill has been, was really good last week, and you're just holding steady. He might be a trade out in round 17, but I'd be holding now, especially that he had a good week and he'll be able to gain some cash for you and hopefully score well over the next few weeks. Sean Johnson's more a buy. We'll go all the way down to 500k, guys. White in there, I wouldn't be touching him. Tupanua is a chance of being a buy, but just check out when Corden is coming back. Welch is probably looking to be a sell, but he's going to be on the bench this week if he even plays. It could be a late out as well, so just keep that in mind with Christian. But it could be looking to be a sell. I imagine I had him as a sell before round 13, but if you're holding him still now, then 17 will be a sell for him. You also have Edwards is definitely a hold. Barnett's a hold, not a buy. You then have Roger. I'd be holding. He doesn't miss any more games. I think you just hold until he starts to lose too much cash or something like that, or if he not scoring well on an edge there. Ramian's a buy. What else we got? Nakora's not a touch. Don't touch him. Don't touch Tino. Ikavalu. Ryan Sutton is a hold, maybe a buy. Harry Winara is a strong buy this week. Croker's definitely a hold. If you hold him through that round 13 buy, he's scoring well enough that you can keep playing him until maybe you could trade him out in the next few weeks, or if you've got a nice upgrade target, then you can go for it. But until then, it's definitely a hold. Turpin, a few people keep asking to bring him in. He's got a buy in round 17. I don't see the theory or the why people are looking to bring him in. Wade Egan is the other one everyone's really hyped on at the moment. I think he's obviously a bit cheaper, and there hasn't been really many good hookers, but he's not a keeper, guys. He's going to average under 50, and you need over 50 at least for a hooker. You're looking closer to 60 for the top guns. So, don't touch him there. Don't touch Rapana at the moment. Mitch Kenny, no. Crichton, I'd be leaving out of your squads at the moment. Harris DeVita, same thing. Burton, I'd probably just leave if you didn't get him last week. And then we move to Marshall King. I can't believe he keeps getting a slot in the squad. Jack Bird, I think, is a strong buy, even though he misses round 17. I just think he's one of the better centres, but there are other options in Avarillo and Peachy and Ramian and all those guys that you could pick at a little bit more expensive price that will also do well. Joey Manu's a solid buy over the next few weeks. I'll just be waiting to see how he goes in the centre position, or if the Roosters play a little bit better and he can do even better for your squad. Nathan Brown's just won't be a keeper this year, so don't touch him. That's really all. That's it. Yeah, Harper's a decent buy. I spoke about him in the previous video. Bribson, I wouldn't be touching, but you're holding if you have him because he's been named to play this week. Remus Smith, I think you hold till 17. You move him on from there. Carl Lawton doesn't look like it's going to be a great buy with with Schuster coming back, Sirenen, I think he'll lose his spot to the bench and just won't make enough cash because he's priced at 503. So that's that. Takaaho, people are interested in at that really cheap 497k, but there's a reason he's down there, guys. Remember, he's not going to be a keeper this year. I wouldn't be touching him. And our last couple there are Campbell Graham. I think you can just hold off for the next few weeks with a higher break even. And Josh Curran, I think, is a good buy. Just be waiting on to see if he. I think you can wait a week to see if he plays a full 80 or if he spends a fair bit of time on the bench. And if he doesn't, then you can pick him up. And if he does spend the time on the bench, then you've missed out on someone that you haven't missed out at all. You've actually avoided someone that isn't going to score or play as well. So that's that, guys. That's the just a little cheeky little video for you to help you out with a little buy, hold, and sell as to what you should be doing with those round 13 guys. Looking forward to the rest of the year. Remember, with trades so scarce at the moment, most people don't have many. I think it's smart to hold the majority of these guys and try and hold steady in trades for the next few weeks. And then maybe once everything's settled and who's going to be playing in 17 and possibly some of the cash outs, which we'll talk about in a video in the next few, then you'll be able to make some good decisions on who you will need to bring into your squad and what you can do heading into round 17. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. Please do like and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one, team. Have a good day.